And we are live here. Hey everybody, Jeff here. Welcome to another Coronavirus Friday. Hope you guys are having a good time and hope you're taking a good break after doing all of your panic shopping and stocked up on your toilet paper. Hey, if you looked on my community tab today, you'd see a funny picture I put up there on my panic room that I was working on this week. Kind of a funny picture there. So, anyway, welcome. I just wanted to give you guys an update as to what was going on here with our remodeling here that we've been doing at our friend's house for the past month or so. So, what I'm going to do here is we're going to turn the camera around here and I'm going to give you a nice clear shot here of the kitchen here. So the reason why we're updating you today is because, as you can see, the granite has arrived. The granite guys just left a few minutes ago. Came and installed all the nice granite countertops here. And this is beautiful granite that we picked out here. As usual, we usually get our cabinets from JK, then we go right around the corner from them to our granite supplier. And they'll come and they'll do templates across the top of your cabinets, and then they make the granite and they set it down here. Now, as you're looking at this granite here, one thing that you probably don't realize here is, and this caused a lot of anguish for us, they had to do a seam. The reason why they had to do a seam is because when you're doing a length of granite like this between three walls, one, two, three walls, that causes a problem because with the sink on the far right here, it exacerbates the problem where it could just crack right there. So what they did was actually put a seam there. And this is one of the better jobs because you really can't tell. Now I know we have kind of bad coverage in here, so you might see a little bit of fuzziness to the and compression losses. But right here where my finger is where the seam is. And there's Gerson, all the way from Brazil, if I remember right. Hey, so check this out. So here's where the seam is. You can barely see it's a white line that runs right there along the front of the granite there. So these guys did a pretty good job here putting that together. And so with such a busy pattern of granite, you don't even know there's a seam there. So it's right here in the middle, directly between the cabinet doors. And then back here where the hole is for the faucet, you can't even really tell, and you're not even really going to be able to tell once the faucet's there. So that turned out pretty lucky for us. I've seen some really botched jobs in the past where people got seams that looked like they were, grout lines, like they weren't dealing with a real granite installer, they were dealing with tile installers. So anyway, this is a testament to how good we did these cabinets because my friend Ernie and I, who he's the owner of the house, and we put these cabinets in. We spent hours, and I mean hours, making sure that these things were all level, plumb, true, shimmed up perfectly. We laid 6 foot, 4 foot, 2 foot levels all the way across the tops of all of these cabinets, and they were so perfectly flat that when these guys laid the slab of granite down here, they did not even have to shim up one spot here. And the testament to it is right there when you look at the spirit level there, because it's right perfectly in the middle there. So that's perfectly level no matter what angle we have it at, no matter where we put it. You're going to see a perfectly level countertop there. And then they had another piece over here to the left of the stove. And then over here, if you guys have been following along since the very beginning from a month and a half ago, there used to be a tall pantry unit here. So now we have this base unit here, and we also have the upper cabinet here to give more counter space. So we added counter space in this kitchen by putting that granite piece there. And so here's what the pattern looks like. It's really nice. It's got little speckles of almost a cranberry color that kind of help offset the sort of a grayish whitish cream background that really accents these cabinets really well. These are kind of like a almost an eclair color of cabinets here. So I have my work cut out for me this afternoon here, folks. So what we do here is next this afternoon I have to pull out this dishwasher and get all the lines installed. And we have here an InSinkErator Badger 500 right here that we're going to install here into the sink. So they'll be able to use the water tonight here. And then we have the faucet. And the faucet we're installing is going to be this one right here. This is the Moen. This is called the Moen Noel. So So Pritball says it looks great. Especially seam. Yeah, the seam came out really good. I hope you guys were able to see it pretty clear because there's very bad coverage in this house, so we don't get good compression at all. So this is the faucet. So we're going to install this later today too. So I've probably got about 3 or 4 hours more work to get done here. So the way it's worked here is we've had these cabinets in for about 3 weeks now. So we had just been waiting. 2 weeks ago, the Granite guys came and took their template measurements here. And hey, calls me, says, Saludos, Jeff from Madrid. So we got people from all over the world checking this one out. I like that. Yeah, so the tenant has been living in this house. They're friends of ours, actually. We all know each other. The owner, the friends, the tenant. So they've been living in here for a few weeks. And what they've had, instead of, because there was no granite countertops here, we had this piece of board. See this long board right here? This is what they were using as their countertop temporarily until we came in today with the granite. So they've got that temporary board that they were using, and they had no running water in the kitchen here, no dishwasher. So they've been washing their dishes in one of the bathrooms there. And he says, have you got it glued after? Yeah, when they lay the granite down, they come by and they caulk along all of the seams here. And they even, let me see if I can get close enough to show you, underneath, you can barely see the white line there. See that white line that runs all the way? They caulk all the way underneath all of that too, as well. And they do it all around all the counters. Here they do it along the wall. See that? After they put it in. But you can see how really thin they do it. They do it with a tool, and then they come by and wipe it afterwards. So there's just a minimal line there. Really good. Because when they come in and take their template, they shape this granite perfectly. So the granite pretty much comes right up against the wall. The only issue, and let me show you the issue we had here, because this is plaster, guys. This is not drywall. Plaster walls are much harder to work with because they curve. And this wall here, you can see back in the corner, it curves off to the right. So you can see the seam here getting wider and wider. That's a non-issue really, because we're eventually going to cover that with a backsplash, and you'll never even know that it was ever there. It will look much better once we have the backsplash in place there. So those are things that you have to kind of worry about, especially with older walls. This is an older house built in the early 70s, so this one had plaster. The plaster was a problem for us when we were doing these along the ceiling, because here you can sort of see right here, if you pay close attention to that dark shadow up there from the top of the cabinets, see how it thins out right there? So right around that point, the top of the cabinet's actually touching the ceiling, but the ceiling goes upward there. So you'll see it open up a little bit. So you probably wouldn't really notice it if I hadn't told you that. And then part of the other thing that we're particularly proud of is if you look at how good the hairline is between these cabinets. When we install our cabinets, we're not like these other Neanderthals that just come in and slap them up on the wall, and then there's lippage between the cabinets. We spend a lot of time and use the right fasteners to make sure that there's a perfect hairline crack there. We use the right fasteners and the right techniques to tie these guys together here. See, here's a little teeny tiny fasteners that we use with a fine thread and a square tip. And so that's how we assure that these two cabinets with their factory edges will pull in tight to each other and stay snug. If you see people who have a gap or the hairline gets wider and skinnier, you know they did a bad job installing. That's why it takes us so long. It takes hours for us to get all this done there. And I see APEC showed up. What's up, brother APEC? How's it going? So yeah, I went into Sam's Club this afternoon just to see what was going on. And just like BJ's, if you guys saw my BJ's upload yesterday from BJ's Club, they were completely wiped out of paper towels and toilet paper and everything. Yeah, they use thick scrapers because they measured wrong, yeah. So yeah, we've been using this particular granite company for several years. They do a pretty decent job. And yeah, their stone looks really, really good here. We're very happy with this. We think the tenants will be quite happy, especially once they have running water, once I get this faucet here installed later today. Yeah. Sorry, don't speak our English. Hey, you know, it's interesting, Gerson. The guys that installed this are from Brazil. So the two installers actually didn't speak a word of English. That's our school probably sending us another message. Yeah, so my daughter's school canceled classes. That she'll be coming home this weekend for 2 weeks. So yeah, and I don't know if you guys saw the stock market this afternoon. It really rallied into the close, up 1,900 points, because Trump came out and invoked the Stafford Act, which gives them emergency power. So they declared a state of emergency, and it frees up something like $50 billion. And they're trying to very rapidly ramp up 5 million coronavirus testing kits. Although they don't want everybody out there just rushing out to get a test kit just for the heck of it. They want to find out, you know, if you have symptoms first, then you go get a testing kit. And they're trying to make it so that you can test from your car. While you drive up and they give you the test right then and there and let you know if you're going to die or not. So anyway, this is what we're looking at here. Oh, he just did the live speech. Yep, interesting to watch. Unfortunately, I missed it because I was here doing the install with these guys, and I wanted to make sure it was getting done properly so that we didn't have any problems with it. But yeah, so at least until today, they were living in here for the last 2 weeks with no countertops, but they at least had a refrigerator and a stove and a microwave oven. So I made sure that was all working for them. So we've been doing a series of videos that we've been recording on this whole remodeling since we started this about a month and a half ago. So we hope to have that up for you guys pretty soon. Let me see if I have the pictures here. Oh yeah, I do. Okay, so look at this. Let me show you. If you guys haven't seen this before, I'm going to show you this. This is what it looked like before we started. So here's what it looks like now, right? And before we started it, this is what the kitchen looked like. It was this ugly old white with the coil top stove there, ugly old coils, ugly old hood, and the pictures doesn't even do it justice as to how bad and stained all of those cabinets were, you know. Built-in cabinets, and so we pulled all of those out, and the ones on the bottom, they were all disintegrated because they were particle board, and you know, years of moisture in the kitchen took its toll. They were just falling apart. The only reason why they were held up is because they were all screwed into the wall. So that's what the kitchen looked like. And let me see if I got the other picture here that shows what the sink looked like. Oh yeah, I don't have the one for the sink, but here's what I have. So this is what we had before you. So you see here you have this upper counter here and the lower counter here, right? This is what we had before. We had this ugly old white built-in pantry unit there. And Apex says, oh, those old cabinets were built on site. Yep. That's how they did it a lot here back in the 70s. So pulling them out was kind of a task because they're completely wall to the wall. And when you're pulling it out, it's like, oh, it's a squeaker getting those things out, and they're heavy. So 2 or 3 guys for sure. We did it, myself and Ernie, my friend that owns the house. Yeah, we did it ourselves, and so 2 people was okay with that. And yeah, that was a nightmare. Let me see if I thought I had the other picture showing what the sink used to look like on here, but I guess I don't. It sort of shows it here on the right. Let me come over here to this side and show you the sink. So there's the sink now. See, way over to the right. And we sort of left the cabinet very similar to what they had before. It was just a cabinet over the sink. See that? And we're going to do something with that ugly old halogen track lighting in the kitchen. There's this beautiful skylight they have at Costco right now. It's 1 feet by 4 feet, LED flat panel, and they call it the skylight because it's pure white and sleek and beautiful. And it's $69, and we're waiting for it to come on sale down to $49 before we pounce on it. And hopefully I can convince our friend to buy it and put it in here. So Apex says, wow, that would have been difficult at times to remove. Yep. And you don't go to Orlando in July. Oh yeah, they closed Disney World. Hey, guess what, guys? I was supposed to go see Yes with Alan Parsons Project in 2 weeks in Fort Lauderdale, and that got canceled. And then Yes does this Cruise to the Edge cruise every year where they play concerts throughout the weekend on it. And my friend was supposed to go on that, so that got canceled as well. So bummer, dudes. So Yeah, this is all. I just wanted to show you how it's looking here. And so we'll probably have the video ready in another week or two. So we're working on that. We're working on all sorts of other videos and stuff, and we're probably going to film how to do the dishwasher here, how to do the installation there. I already have an installation video that we uploaded on how to do the garbage disposal. We did that already. We're probably going to film one today on how to do this Moen faucet install. So you can see how this one project is going to spawn several videos, shorter ones, and then one big long one showing the documentary of the entire process here. All right. All right, so guys, I just want to let you know about that. And if there's no other questions or anything, is that a stove, gas, or electric? This is electric. So in this part of Broward County, it's a more modern part of town. Everything here is electric. So we had to upgrade the outlet there. We had to run a ground line from the fuse panel, which is on the other side of this door over here, just through the wall and down, and we converted it from the old 3-wire to the new 4-wire. And then we had to buy a new 4-wire plug for this new stove, and I had to get back and wire it correctly for the new 4-wire method. And then we also ran our own Romex cable for the microwave because there was a range hood before that was connected to that outlet. And that's a no-no, and you can't do that. You have to have a dedicated 20 amp circuit for microwave ovens. So let me see if I can show you the inside there. See, we put a single round 20 amp outlet in there. And some people say, well, why don't you put a duplex outlet in there? I don't want anybody plugging out anything else in there, nothing. Because it won't be long before somebody gets really stupid and plugs in another appliance while you have that on there as well too. So yeah, APEC, it was a 4-plug. It was originally a 3-plug outlet. We removed the 3-plug, ran a ground, made it a 4-plug outlet, and then got a 4-prong plug for the stove and wired it to the back of the stove. Now we're up to the more modern code. Any new construction now requires that 4-conductor plug. The reason why they require that now, the green wire is what grounds the chassis of the stove. What they used to do here is with the 3-prong, they ground the chassis of the stove to the white wire, and they don't allow that anymore. They want the white wire to simply be the return, and they want the chassis to be safety grounded directly to the earth ground. And they think that makes it the most safe that you could possibly have. And we do this a lot. To us, it's just another day at the office, basically, because every project I'm on, virtually, we have to run a new circuit, because a lot of times we're coming in and taking over condos and properties that were built in the 70s and early 80s before they had standard microwave oven outlets there. Okay, so there's your little minor electrical lesson for the day. And then here, let me show you this too. And hopefully we don't lose signal here, but this shows you just how much curvature there is to the refrigerators and the appliances sometimes. Come on, you can't make a straight panel. So we know the edge of the granite's straight, but you can see how far that ventures off from the granite there. So those are kind of the funny things that you see with the appliances. And now that the granite's in, we have to level the stove so that the black cook surface will be totally level with that granite. And then we have to do the other step that I never see anybody do. And so I want to point this out to you guys. There's a little bracket that comes in here inside the stove. I'm going to see if it's still in here. They were using it for cooking, so let me see if it's down here. Yes. Oh, I can't get it out right now, but you see that bracket right there? All right, so that bracket, you're supposed to screw either to the floor or flip it around. It's an L-shaped bracket, and run it into the wall behind the bottom of the stove so that the stove leg slides right into that groove that you saw in that clip. That keeps the stove from tipping, and I can't tell you how many accidents they have every year with kids that open up the door and they stand on the door and then boom, the stove falls forward on them. So that's actually required by building code. So people that don't get a building permit, at least make sure you're doing stuff to building code. All right. So let's see if we have any other questions that came in. Ronnie B says, "Do you see gas grills or burners?" Uh, there's not a lot of gas in our area, so and even in the stores when you buy the stoves, there is an option to buy them, but they usually have the electric one there in the stores there. So use your eyes. Use your eyes for what? Ronnie B says use your eyes. Okay, so and we have to level that. And then the other mistake that I see people make too with the dishwasher is you're supposed to screw the top of the dishwasher to the underside of the cabinet here. Now I'm going to see, usually, I think he's got a piece of wood back in there or something. I got to check. Usually my guy gives me a piece of wood that's already built into the granite. If he doesn't, you're supposed to secure it to the side of the cabinet next to you. So, and then you're supposed to also level the dishwasher. That's one thing people screw up on. The other thing I see people screw up on, you see this hose right here? That's the drain hose for the garbage disposal. What's supposed to happen, and what actually happens, is people bring the hose in and they go up to the garbage disposal, and that's a no-no. It's supposed to go up, all the way up underneath to the counter, and then come down to the garbage disposal. So I want each and every one of you tonight to go check your garbage disposal under your sink. And if you see the supply hose, not the supply, it's actually the drain hose, that clear drain hose, if you see it going up to your garbage disposal, that's wrong. It's a violation of plumbing code. But all the installers at Home Depot and Lowe's and all those guys send out, that's how they do it. And it's really, really bad. It's not a good situation to be in. You have to go up here to the counter, turn around, and come back down, sloped down to the garbage disposal output there. And Apex says, hardly ever see dishwashers fastened to the cabinet or counter. Yeah, that's one they usually fix along with the dishwasher drain hose not being plumbed correctly. Yeah, and some states like Wisconsin don't even allow you to do the high loop. They call it a high loop. They don't even allow you to do the high loop up to the counter. Theirs is really stupid. Up there, you have to run it to this thing called an air gap, and this air gap sits above the counter like this, like a freaking ugly cell phone tower or something. And that's the way Wisconsin wants you to do those air gaps there. So there you have it, folks. Hopefully I gave you some pretty good informational tips here and things to do, things not to do when you're having work done in your kitchen. And hey, you know what? Even if you're not doing the work, if you're having somebody to come in to do it, at least make sure they're doing it right. And if they'd say, oh, well, relax, I've been doing it this way for years, it's okay. It's not okay. Because if you pull out the installation guide for the dishwasher when it comes in new, it'll say it in there when you see the things there. It'll say it's got to be something like 32 or 34 inches above the floor before it comes down to the garbage disposal there. All right. All right, APEC. We'll see you later. And everybody else, thanks for joining us today, guys. And make sure if you haven't subscribed to our channel, hey, go ahead and do that right now. And make sure you click the thumbs up button right now. But if you haven't subscribed, click that subscribe button down below. And if you haven't clicked the little bell icon next to it, click that too, because YouTube will not notify you if we upload a new video. So you want to make sure that you're subscribed and that you're notified as well, so you don't miss a single one. All right, guys, you guys have a great weekend. Have a safe weekend. Don't get crazy out there. There's a lot of fights in the parking lots. I saw one at BJ's yesterday. They're yelling and screaming at each other. They're cutting each other off in the traffic. So stay safe. Respect one another. Love one another. Do what Jesus would do. All right? We'll see you guys. Have a great one. Bye.